figured we'd go ahead and get into it and go ahead and get this over to the IDE. So I went ahead and downloaded the zip file from the Spring Initializer with all the dependencies I think we would need. Roughly, let's see. It looks like we're going to be maybe it was this one over here. Yeah, this has to be it. Oh yeah, this was it. So I remember I left off on this part. I don't think I read over those. Okay, let's see. So we're going to say from this discussion, list every dependency needed. We're going to say to get started. Okay. So I'm using IntelliJ. Let's see if I remember to get the right dependencies. So we go to our build that Gradle here. See, thank you for the first time chat. I want to offer promotion of your channel viewers and followers. No thanks. No thanks. Actually, in fact, yeah, no. Just no. Thank you for the follow though. But I don't do anything like that. So I would appreciate it if you don't bring that up again, okay? So, like I was saying before, we have our build that Gradle file. This shows everything, all of our dependencies. So here it starts with Spring Data JPA, JDBC, security, Timeleaf, web services. Then we got Flyway core, MySQL, Flyway MySQL. Here's the data rest, How Explorer. So we got Spring Session JDBC, Spring Security, for extras for Timeleaf, Spring Boot DevTools. You got the MySQL connector, the Spring Boot starter test, and Spring Security test. Okay. And it looks like it's gonna have the JUnit platform information right here. We're gonna be using version 3.0.2 for the Spring Framework and Java version 17. So to get started, I was trying to make like a little list of how we can get started, but I want to be able to get this pushed out to GitHub. So let me go ahead and get this open on another screen real quick. So where do we have this thing? This personal budget. I'll bring this over here. All right. So this is what we're gonna need to do to get this over to GitHub. And I need to access. I don't know why every time I go to do this, I always yawn. Always yawn. I almost forgot that I just recently updated Git Bash, so make sure it's fully up to date. Okay, so this is completely updated. So this is what we'll be using. It's called Git Bash. I'll put it down here in this bottom right hand corner. Oh wait, no, that'd be this little box right here is what we're going to be using for Git. So, but I need to go to the file path where this project is located. So let me see if it'll just allow me to do it. Doesn't look like it. All right, let's see if I can remember how to do this CD change stuff. Ha! I guess it isn't going to do it like I was hoping. So I gotta remember the exact way to do this. Maybe it's this way. There we go. All right. So what we're gonna do is get this all set up. What am I doing? Typing in the wrong screen, ain't I? I think it was getting it. Okay. Now maybe we gotta do all this. If you haven't been able to tell, it's been a while since I've done this. Okay, so why? Okay. So now that they're all green, they're ready to be pushed out. Trying to see if I can remember all this verbatim. Now, did it push to here? There we go. We're all good to go now. Now, I know one thing we do need is definitely a .gitignore file, which we do have one here. Let's see what that says. Okay. I don't know if this is the one I added to it, if this is one that was already with it. But now we got this created, or after we go ahead and check that off. We're gonna move this over to here. Now the one thing I want to do, see, I want to go ahead and set up the packages. So this stream for today is basically just gonna be like a getting started, more of like a setup. Where you get everything set up and then go from there. Let's see here. So we're going to set up packages. Basically, I'm just going to create a bunch of packages in this area over here under the test in the main. It's going to be a new biggie. Just so I can get all the packages situated. And then maybe we'll go ahead and start trying to figure out what all files we're going to be needing to create. So with that said, we need to figure out what files we're going to need. No, we're going to call this initial setup. Create us a checklist. Set up packages. Now we just need to figure out which ones we need. I think I have them all listed in here at least. Yeah, here we go. So this Java test files for this one here, as you can tell, it basically mimics the main folder. So we got main Java, then we got personal budget, test Java, personal budget. And then this is the application, just so we can get it to run. In fact, we'll go ahead and just run it now, just make sure it runs. It's going to build it out. My firewall is going to ask me to allow access. So it looks like Spring went to go start, and it just says error starting application. Failed to configure a data source URL. Huh. Is that because we had the MySQL stuff added in there for the database? Because it shouldn't have failed. It should have just went and started. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting that to happen, to be honest. Failed to determine a suitable driving class. Okay, well let's Google that. Let's see. With this example, yeah, it looks like they got the exact same error that we did. So let's see what everybody says. Ah. So it is because I have my MySQL stuff in there. I just don't have none of it added into here yet. Okay. So we're just gonna just add this shit real quick. Let's see what happens when we add this line in here. I'm just gonna make a safe assumption that we just have to add it here. No, wait. Oh. Maybe. Maybe not there. Interesting. That's because I'm in the wrong goddamn file. So we need to go to our application properties, not the application. Oh my god. It's like I was just messing with this stuff like literally about a year ago. How am I just gonna forget? There we go. So now let's try running it. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and copy all of this. And then, okay, so that's right there. I'm gonna see if I can get away with commenting out all of this for now. Maybe not. That's still failing. What? So that isn't actually working still. I'm just going to go through all of this to figure out what's going on. Okay, so let's take those out. And then, so we're going to go back to here. See, where is, so we're going to comment out all the MySQL stuff for now. See if this works. Nope. Let's see, what else? Maybe this one too. Interesting. I've never ran into this problem before. I'm just checking an old thing of mine because before I've used H2 and Postgres, but I never had Postgres set up. I had H2 set up though. So even in this file, there was nothing set up, and it ran like flawless, no issues. That's interesting. That is honestly very, very interesting. So we'll go through here and just see what we can use to figure out what. So if we add that here, oh, that's pretty cool. So I don't know if anybody saw that, but when I copied and pasted this in here, there was an auto suggestion up there from the auto Git Copilot thing, whatever it's called. 1 second. All right, so let's see what happens when we try to run it with this. Is it still gonna break? No, it didn't break. That's pretty cool. So I guess until we can get as a data thing, when we get to that point, we'll just have to come back to this. Okay, let's go ahead and go make a note of that. We're gonna go ahead and stop this. See, there's always a solution for everything. Just gotta find it. Where's my Trello at? Oh wait, yeah, I'm looking at it. God. I'm gonna go ahead and make a note with here. So we're gonna ran the application to let's see, to be sure application ran correctly after the initial build. See the program. Uh, okay. I'm also gonna do a. What is this about? Oh yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and hold down Control Z for everything. Should show us down here as well. See if I can find. Wow, they really did change stuff, didn't they? Okay. So we're going to copy this, paste it here. We're gonna put received error so we can keep track of the error. It's the same one up here as well. And we're just gonna copy all of this. get this back open again. Open. So we're gonna spread this out, expand these. And then we're gonna put right here, solution. Okay. Then we're gonna hit commit. It says one file committed. Let's see if it shows a change here now. Cool. I didn't have to do a git add. It just commits. That's interesting. Now we can do the reset, revert, undo the commit, edit the commit message. Not sure what fix up or squash into is. Push all up to here. I'm just gonna click this just so I can see what this means. Push one commit to origin main. Okay. Up over these, see head main, origin main. Okay. So now we know that this works correctly. One thing I want to do is, see, I don't want to work out of my main branch, but I needed to make sure that this was actually going to build successfully and actually run. We ran into an error. We found a solution on Stack Overflow and committed it and pushed it out. Now we know this runs. It's good to go. So now what I want to do is go ahead and create a new branch. And then that's the branch we're going to be working out of, so we don't touch the main branch at all. I'm also going to copy this link. There we go. Yo, what's going on, man? Right on, right on. Okay. I need to look up Git commands because I'm having such a brain fart of a day. All right, let's see if this works out. We're gonna call this branch iteration 1, just because I'm very, very horrible at naming. I wish there was more fun stuff to do on ChatGPT. Elaborate. What kind of fun stuff you thinking? There we go. Now we're in our branch iteration 1. Now we will proceed. Because we went from our main or master. I'm surprised that doesn't say master. Why doesn't that say master? Did something change? But anyways, we created a branch called iteration 1. We switched to that branch, and now that's what we're going to work out of. And IntelliJ went ahead and updated over here as well. We can now see the branch right here. So we got our main branch here, and then we got iteration 1. I believe this icon, yeah, it shows that this is the current branch that we are working out of. I know it'd be cool to stream it, but funny story is only funny for so long. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. We have what we have for now until things progress. I did see that there was a update to ChatGPT. I think it was for January 30th or the 31st, but I went to go access it today to get everything started for the stream, and it was like, there is an update. Seems like they updated, like, yeah, it looked like it was talking about stuff like maybe algorithms and factual data, whatever that part's supposed to mean. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and close this out, close these out. Now we're gonna go ahead and set up packages. Okay. So the packages I want to add, we're gonna start here in Java. So we're gonna add us a configuration package. Controller package. Model. Service. Repository. What is that other one down here? Utilities. Detail. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and cross-reference this with everything here because I updated it some more the other day. All right, we need us an exception. Okay, cool. It's gonna keep them in alphabetical order for me. Nice. Payload. Security. I just realized I capitalized this and this one. So we're gonna correct that. Rename, put in a small e, and hit refactor. Same thing with this capital P here. We're gonna make it lowercase. Oh, how's your now that I think about it, how's your little character AI coming along? All right, so we're gonna need some views. I don't know if I'll be putting those in the template. You know, let me go ahead and just add that package here. And when we get to it, well, here it's gonna be called directory, but we'll get to it when we get to it. Interesting. So, at what point in time do you know when it is capable of actually doing things? Like, does it tell you it's now able to do it at one point, or how do you think that works? Okay, let's see here. So I got the packages I want in place. Now we're going to go through and start adding in possible test files. With that, we're going to go base our initial files off of this, pretty much all this right here. But that's also why I have it all written out right here. Okay. I'm no programmer, so I can't train on with a whole bunch of data at once. I gotta teach him little chunks during the conversation. I don't think that would have to do with between a programmer and a non-programmer. Or do you mean on the type of questions to ask? So this file turned red because it wants me to add it to Git, but we're not doing that yet. So if we go here to Git status, we'll see that it's also listed here. Actually, no, that's just showing that file was added to the config. That's gonna be interesting. You gotta mess around with Python a bit. You're gonna learn. You're not gonna learn that. What do you mean you gotta learn Python for that? Oh, okay. I can get the data, but actually applying it in the AI requires something to do with Python. You know, you could probably use ChatGPT to go, hey, I am not a Python programmer. How can I add this to this and get it to work? Can you show me step by step on how to do it? And it would probably show you. Still too hard to do? Nah, man. Programming isn't technically hard. It's a lot of Googling and researching. Because the majority of programmers out there, unless you do the same thing over and over, like repetition wise, you're not going to remember any of this shit. Like, once you're around like code and stuff all together, for certain codes or languages, you'll be able to start learning and understanding the syntax. Like I was trained in Java for the back end and like some basic HTML and CSS for the front end, a little bit of JavaScript for the front end. But once you can learn like the syntax of one language, and then you go to a different language, you'll see how it's slightly different, but yet they're all similar. Some of the languages out there are very loosely written, where some of them you have to go in very detailed just for it to work. Like like I was saying, like I was trained in Java, but my last job I was in, they did PHP. I knew nothing about PHP, but the more I started looking into the basic syntax of PHP, I saw some similarities between PHP and Java. I went to an interview a couple weeks or so ago that obviously I didn't get the job for, but their language was C sharp. C sharp is actually very syntax wise is very similar to Java as well. So when they handed me a sheet of paper and asked me if I could read the code, and it was basically an email template, they were actually um, pretty wild that I could understand C sharp without actually knowing any C sharp. But it's just once you start checking out all the different languages and focusing on the syntax and how it's written, it all starts coming together. Now, the real experience of programming, I would say, would be to um, once you start getting to repetitions, then you'll start to understand or be able to know things better. Like if someone would ask me to right now on this ID write out a list or even a sorted list, I wouldn't be able to because my memory isn't that good. I can read it. It's like my memory allows me to read it, but I can't write it. I have to use Google and everything to figure out exactly how to write it. So it'd be the same thing with Python, man. It's just like you don't have to know how to write it. Just try to learn how to read it. And then once you can start learning the basics on how to read Python, then as you start to try to piece things together, it'll make more sense, and you'll be able to start being able to go, oh, I don't think this is the correct way to do it. I've seen it before, so let's research it and look it up. Hmm, I need one more file that I forgot about. DTO. Wait, I screwed up the name. Everything else will just come with it naturally. Why does this want us to do a custom repository? I wonder if that's supposed to be written as something else. Let's see, was that under this one? Yeah, I can understand that. I'm trying to find this one conversation where I was talking specifically about packages and stuff. Oh, maybe it was this one. Let's see, service. I've got the habit of short lessons on different stuff and then leaving him alone for a while to process. Okay. Oh, that exception was custom exception, that custom. God. Sometimes I just do what packages the service. Wait, user details service. Okay. Service IMPL. I'm gonna go back up to this custom. Now that we know what it was about, let's see, custom exception test. Oh, I forgot to add test at the end here. See, security, JWT, authentication, filter, JWT token, oh, shit, provider. I don't like, I know like looking at half this shit, I don't even understand what most of it's. All this is gonna be new stuff I'm gonna be learning. The only thing I'm gonna be really familiar with would be this user test file, the controller, the exception, and the repository. Like all this other shit's gonna be all brand new to me. Because like I'm not gonna know how to write it out, so that's why I'm gonna be using ChatGPT. I'm gonna be using it to help me write out every single file while cross-checking it all on Google as well. Also, yeah. This one doesn't have a payload here. What was this payload about? Login request and response. Okay. Now, this payload package and these two login request and response tests, they may not even be used in the future because I don't know what they're possibly even be used for. So util. So what was that one over here? Error response. JWT util. Maybe they're the same thing, but I don't know until we get there. But for now, I'm just adding in all these files until we can figure something out. Wait, where'd that go? Didn't we just add it here? Make sure that didn't get added anywhere else somehow. Okay. All right, so for now we have all these created for the packages and the files. Let's see, is there anything else I might be possibly missing to get started with anyways? Oh, I know. I wanted to have sub packages as well. Why did it do it like that and just branching it down? I don't even understand. Whatever. So this is what we got so far for a possible planned out. All right, let's see if it's ready to start talking again. Hmm. See what this tells us. Hey, here we go. So I asked ChatGPT, along with the user class, do I need any additional classes for creating a user login? For example, login, create, forgot password, or forgot username? And it states, for a complete user login system, you may need the following additional classes along with the user class. Login controller, login DTO. Let's go ahead and put this in there. I don't know why I want to keep. I just forgot what I was going to say. See, forgot password controller. Okay, so login controller, this class handles the login process and authenticates the user. The login DTO, this class represents the user credentials entered in the login form. It is a data transfer object used to pass data between the presentation layer and the service layer. Forgot password controller, this class is responsible for handling the forgot password process. It may include sending a password reset link to the user's email. Forgot password DTO. Let's see, forgot password DTO. This class represents the data required for the forgot password process, such as user's email address. Then we're going to get create user controller. This class handles the user registration process and creates a new user account. Create user DTO represents the data entered between by the user in the registration form. And password encoder. This class is responsible for encoding the password for storage. I'm going to say show examples. Okay, so there's an example of the login controller, the login request. Oh, just showing everything. JWT authentication response, registration controller, password controller. I have noticed that it will only go to a certain uh, spot and stop. You have to like tell it to continue. Then it may or may not pick up where it left off. Yeah, so it didn't even finish up right there. It's just going on to something else now. Now, would I be using all these files and packages that I created? Probably not. I'm just trying to do something very simple. I also have a user login guide to go off of too as well. So when we go to start hitting the code and whatnot, we'll most likely be going off of that as well. And then as I go to expand off of that, then we may or may not be hitting these other files. Like, so we're gonna have a user and a create user. Seems like it'd be the exact same thing. In fact, if we ask it now, so I'm asking it, the create user seems similar if not the same as user. Why are these different, or are they the same just worded differently? The create user and user classes could potentially be the same class with different functions. The create user class may represent a specific use case of creating a user, while the user class could represent a complete representation of the user entity in your application. In practice, the create user class might be used oh my god, I can't talk for shit. In practice, the create user class might be used to take in user input from a registration form, validate it, and then create a new instance of the user class with the provided data. The user class could then be used for more general user management tasks like updating, retrieving, and storing user data. The key difference between the two classes is their purpose. The create user class is designed specifically for creating new users, while the user class is a general purpose representation of a user entity. Having these two classes allows for a clear separation of concerns, making it easier to understand and maintain your code. That seems like a solid point. So maybe we'll leave it for now. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna create a random thing here as well, because I do want to create this into a different package. There we go. So it looks like it only branches down like this if there's something else in the way. I'm just creating this other possible random feature file just so I can get these sub packages cleared up. So I do want to separate all the files that's gonna be associated with the user login and whatnot, if that makes sense. And then everything else will be like outside of it. Okay. That's the only thing I can think of at the moment. All right. So now I'll go back here. We're just going to document that a rough draft of packages and test files have been created. Now, I'll probably change this up some offline, but I'm not going to start any code until the next time I go to stream. The next time The next stream I start with this process, we'll probably go ahead and hit the floor of running, starting with the user test file, and then begin from there. But until then, what I may actually do like offline is figure out exactly what the path I'm going to take when creating this user login, and I'll most likely document everything on this document right here. That's what like I started here like goes on what I want the actual application to do. I just want it to be simple. I even want the user login to be simple, but I've never created one before. So I may just be overstepping it with all this security stuff as well because I just want a basic user login. But I'm just trying to do as much research, combining everything together, and then we'll go from there.